going.
How's it going, everybody?
You know.
It's
Happy
going.
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Well, okay.
I mean,
we're going to upload it on
we're
Tuesday.
gonna upload
Wow.
Tuesday.
but you'll never know if it's really Tuesday.
It actually is.
It is really Tuesday. That's true.
Wait,
We are recording this on a Tuesday. There is no mystery.
it's not. Oh, it is too.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is a whole
shit.
Tuesday.
That was so genuine, too.
No, that was very genuine. I got my days very confused.
Jesus
To
Christ.
be honest, I forgot it was Tuesday, except I just knew that we were going to upload it on Tuesday, so I figured I'd say Happy Tuesday.
Are we announcing our upload schedule? Is that what this is?
It's going to be on Tuesdays if you haven't gathered.
Tuesday.
Got the club going up.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Can we do that? Is that copyrighted
No.
material?
Yeah.
Credit Aubrey
Who
Graham.
knows?
Who does that song?
I think it's Drake.
Oh, Drake. Wait, which Drake? There's two Drakes. Like the fun
There's two
Drake,
Drake?
or like the DeCoster Junior High Drake, like that.
Who's the other Drake?
The Drake, Drake, Drake and Josh.
Oh!
Well, it's not him.
He makes club
Definitely
music
not
now,
him.
doesn't he? Isn't that
I
a
don't
thing?
know what the fuck he does now.
Drake, if you're out there, tell us what you're doing, man.
Drake Bell, if you're out there, let's collaborate.
Yeah,
I mean, Josh is a
let's collab.
YouTuber, so
That's
he
true.
is. He used to be a Viner. Those were the
oof.
days.
Viners.
Miss
Anyway,
Vine.
anywho, what are we here to talk about?
We're here to talk about a movie called Uncut Gems. You might have seen it. It's gaining a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about another movie that I don't think as many people have seen or have heard of, because I didn't hear of it until recently.
Pretty much both are directed by the Safdie brothers.
It's called Good Time.
Good Time, yeah. Wow. So I would say that I don't think people like as a whole, like as a community, like, the larger market of people have seen Good Time, but I think Uncut Gems happened because all the people who worked on it were like, we saw a Good Time and it was great. At least that's what I know for sure. Adam Sandler read once he saw Good Time, he was like totally in after that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But yeah, I didn't really hear a lot about Good Time when it came out. I mean, when did it come out?
2016, I think. 2017, maybe.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess I would have been positioned to have been running in the type of circles that would have heard about that movie, but I just for some reason didn't.
It was whatever year Lady Bird came out. I just remember that.
Okay, so that, I mean, yeah, I remember going to the theater and seeing Lady Bird, but I heard nothing about Good Time whatsoever, which is whack because Good Time is crazy.
Effective.
Would you say it's a good time?
No.
I wouldn't call it that.
Absolutely
No, not at
whatsoever.
all. It made
Yeah.
me weird about open Sprite bottles for a really long time. I'm like, I don't know if I should drink that, even though I'm the one who bought this bottle.
So I guess the we probably could have addressed this before the mics came on, but do we want to talk about them separately, or should we just kind of talk about them together?
I think that they kind of mesh together.
Yeah. Yeah. So Uncut Gems is fresh for all of us because we've all seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, a week ago. I
Yeah.
guess. I
Yeah.
guess a week
We
ago
saw
today.
it. So what happened was, if you heard on the last podcast, Frani locked her keys in her car, and then we didn't know that for sure. We went and saw Uncut Gems, came back, and then worked on getting her car open for an hour. So
Yeah.
while we're filled with a bunch of adrenaline and dread, we're like, oh, now we have to open this car door. So we all felt like dirty criminals, and it kind of helped seeing that movie. I think it helped us open up the car door.
Yeah.
It was great.
I agree. Felt very good.
Couldn't ask for a better team.
So let's talk about the biggest thing everybody's talking about with Adam Sandler's performance in Uncut Gems.
You're looking right at me.
So Madison is infamous for hating Adam Sandler.
She does.
Hating him.
Listen, okay? Listen. I have my reasons, and the reasons are these. I hate Adam Sandler because Adam Sandler is a good actor. That's why
A great
I hate
actor.
him. He's a great actor. We saw it in Uncut Gems. We saw him be great. And seeing him be great in Uncut Gems makes me hate him even more because he is a great actor who just makes these shit films consistently because he doesn't have to try, because it's easy, and because they make money. It's lazy, and I know that he can do better, and that's why I hate him. And I just think that every movie that Adam Sandler has come out with, that he writes or directs or produces or whatever, they're just consistently shit all the time because it's easy and because the money is there.
How much does
And he
he
doesn't
write
have to
and
try.
direct? I don't.
Well, yeah, I guess he doesn't really write and direct, but as much
I know
as
he produces. He's got that
okay,
happy.
yeah, so like, I guess writing and directing is the wrong thing to say, but like, you know, he produces these shitty movies which he stars in, acting shittily. His
Is that a word?
yes. His modus operandi, is that the right way you say that?
I have no idea.
Whatever.
I'm just letting you go, girl.
His fucking MO in these movies is to do a silly voice and act like an idiot.
Oh,
That's yeah, exactly. Like that's that is the crux of his acting ability in those movies, and I don't understand it because you go to a fucking movie theater and you see a movie like Uncut Gems and he's amazing, and like it doesn't even register for you that it's Adam Sandler because he's so immersed in this part. I mean, and it pisses me off because I know that he can do more when I see him in the fucking Waterboy, a movie I loathe. And
Waterboy is a great film.
What? Shut up.
No, it really is. It's objectively a great
really,
film.
No, it really, I really hate it.
Contribute. I haven't seen it.
You don't want
You
to.
haven't seen
Well,
Waterboy?
if you're gonna go after
No.
Waterboy, I will defend it. I'm sorry, but we'll
Okay,
get to that.
fine. Okay, then any fucking other movie, fucking Happy Gilmore, I don't fucking know.
Well,
He
it
does
sounds
these-
like you're not exactly educated on Adam Sandler films because you
Well,
don't even know
I'm
which
just-
ones to quote.
Well, I mean, any of them, honestly.
What about Punch Drunk Love?
Okay, but that's a different story because that's not a movie that he produced, to my understanding, right?
I'd have to double check. I don't know.
But
I don't know what
I'm saying
films
is
he produced.
What I'm saying is Punch Drunk Love is the exception to what he does. It's him actually like doing good work, and it shows. And that's why I don't like him, because it shows to me that he can do like really cool, really good work, and then he just doesn't because it's easier and probably makes him more money to do the shitty goof off stuff like fucking.
I think Bob Odenkirk.
Grown-ups.
He was. There was an interview with Bob Odenkirk, the guy who plays Saul in in Breaking Bad and stuff like that, and Better
I
Call
know who
Saul.
Bob Odenkirk.
I'm saying that for people who don't.
Thanks.
No problem. He said it, and I know plenty of other people have said it, but it stuck out the most when he said it. It's way harder to do comedy than it is to do drama, and I know that you hate Adam Sandler, but he is the voice of a nation in regards to like shit butt comedies.
And that's like, I agree. It's harder to
It's
do comedy
hard
than drama.
to build an empire like that. He has
But
such
what
a strong
Adam Sandler-
following.
What Adam Sandler is doing is barely comedy.
Not
It's
according
like
to his
fucking butt
insanely
jokes.
loyal fan base. There are way more people that are going to see his next Netflix comedy than there are that are going to see Uncut Gems. You saw the size of our theater. That was opening weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but like, the thing is, to me, that like he does these shitty movies, which are consistently shitty. Like, it's not like I'm in the minority of thinking that like Adam Sandler's last 12 Netflix specials have been shitty. We all are.
Well, actually, I do want to say something. This isn't to be contrary. His stand-up special on Netflix is that if you were like a fan of old SNL,
I mean, like,
but his films, yeah, I agree. There is a level of quality that has dropped away for sure.
and it's because nobody who is a part of that, least of all Adam Sandler, has to give a fuck. Because they can just do it. They can just fucking show up to set, make a funny voice and a fart joke, and rake it the fuck in. Rake in the cash. And they don't even have to fucking try.
But to
know that he can, and that he chooses not to, he consciously makes a conscious choice to not be good. And
to
to
say
not
it's
do
lazy
good
though,
films.
that's disingenuous. It was really hard. Like for instance, okay, Rob Schneider, he makes stuff, right? He's got his Real Rob show. He's done stand up, but nobody fucking watches what he makes. And the reason why is because Adam Sandler did the work, made like a following for himself after getting fired off of SNL, and to build that brand where you're the shit butt comedy guy that everybody loves. That's a hard thing to do. It's not lazy.
It's lazy now.
Sure, but he's living off of his riches. I'm sure, like you could call Elton John lazy off of all of his royalties, but he did put in the work. Adam Sandler put in the work of being the shit butt comedy guy, and he nailed it. Does that mean that he's like better? Does that mean it's artful? No. His films generally are absent of art.
Yes, and that's my thing. Like, he has the talent and capacity.
But I think
do
he
something
wants to
different.
be a businessman first, because it shows in that Reign Over Me, he was incredible with acting. Uncut Gems, Spanglish to a degree, Punch Drunk Love. But what do all these movies have in common? they didn't make any money for him. So I think, I think the reasons you hate him isn't because he's lazy, but it's because he's sort of a fuck because he doesn't care about the art.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But it's not
both.
laziness.
Well,
He just chooses it.
well, no, but I think that the movies that he makes and chooses to put his money into are fundamentally lazy movies because they have an audience and they don't have to try. Because there's always going to be people out there who think that Adam Sandler's like fart comedy is high art, and there are always going to be people out there who fucking love Billy Madison or whatever.
But couldn't you say the same about like the Marvel films or Star Wars or anything like that? Any sort of big franchise. I mean, Adam Sandler is kind of a franchise in himself now, right?
Yeah, and I think I have and will say the same thing about a lot of superhero and like a lot of franchises. I think that they get lazy because they have a built-in audience, and I think it's fucking disgraceful. Is what it is. It's just like just because people will watch it.
So by that same
It doesn't mean that you don't have to make it good.
by that same branch though, you could say you hate Taika Waititi then, right? Because he directs these Marvel films. He's largely producing things like he's on Mandalorian as the Killbot. He's involved in these projects that you consider lazy while also being super artful. That's something that Adam Sandler is doing right now too. He was just in Uncut Gems, but also he made, what was it, like Murder Vacation or whatever? Something with, we watched it.
I think it was like murder mystery shit.
Yeah,
but
we murder
Yeah.
remember we saw it at your aunt's house? The one where he's like he and his wife are like caught up in like a murder mystery thing?
Like, isn't it like date night or something?
No.
No.
No, it's not date night.
But what I'll say about the Taika Waititi
Oh, I
thing
know what you're talking
is
about.
that he made the best Marvel movie I've seen in a long ass time. Thor Ragnarok is miles better than like half the shit that's come out recently.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Thank you. And so like it's not the being a franchise and it's not the being a part of a franchise or being a part of something big that has a wide audience. It's the lazily doing of it. And I just think that like he puts his time, effort, and money into movies that he knows their shit. He must know their shit. Like,
I mean, he has openly said that he'll make a movie just so his friends can go on vacation somewhere.
yeah, and I think that's fucking shitty. Like, at least like make it good. Like, if people are giving you money to do this. People are like, watching this movie because you made it. At least have the fucking decency to make it a good one. But he doesn't because it's easier. And that is my primary beef with Adam Sandler. However, I loved him in this movie. I thought he was great.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that from him. I want to say that like he did a good job, but that only
I just
makes
wanna
me hate
say,
him more.
On part of the Waterboy though, you have so much hatred for the Waterboy, but let's just break down what the Waterboy is. So it's
Can we? That's not even what the fuck we're talking about right now.
But we're gonna go there
But
real
I'm
quick.
incensed.
Okay, real quick. We'll
Jesus
just go
fucking
through, we'll
Christ.
go through real fast.
We have to have this conversation like once a week.
We do. So okay, Kathy Bates and Adam Sandler make the Waterboy. Kathy Bates is like throwaway, like the funniest person in the whole film. Adam Sandler, it's like one of his first times out. National Board of Review this year. Who wins Best Actor? Adam Sandler. Who wins Best Supporting Actress? Kathy Bates. So, if we're breaking aside, you can at least admit that the performers in Waterboy, at least the main two, are fantastic actors.
Yeah, I think that they're both great actors, but
Now,
I don't think that movie's
The
good.
film has held up and is insanely quotable.
It really isn't.
It's watched over and over by his fans.
By his fans.
And by other people too. It's a film that's constantly refound. It's a film. It's like a coming of age movie. This kid. He's in the backwaters of Louisiana or wherever it is. He's living basically in a swamp, and then it's like a great sports drama too. I think that film is a lot better than you give it credit for.
It's not. I can honestly tell you that I have I watched that movie fucking stone faced. I don't find it funny. What's the joke? That he's an idiot and talks funny? Is that the joke of the movie?
No.
I think that it is.
I think the joke of the movie is he's in a ridiculous circumstance with an overly protective mother, and he's essentially a man-child who's never experienced the real world, and you're watching him essentially unfold the real world in front of his childlike eyes. And that makes for a really funny situations, kind of like Forrest Gump.
I don't fucking like it. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I just wanted to get my point across.
I'm mad now. Like, I'm heated about it. I went on my Adam Sandler rant, and now I'm all, like, fired up. What are you looking at, Bridget?
I was looking at Waterboy because I was wondering if I have seen it. Is that the one where he's like in the bubble? That's a different thing.
In the bubble?
You're
What
thinking
the?
of Jake Gyllenhaal. He's in a movie where he's the boy in the bubble.
Is that what you're thinking of?
I mean, it might be. I don't know. I'm just
Hey,
taking
is
a
that
total
even
guess.
like vaguely related to
I don't know.
Waterboy?
I don't think
She's
so.
like
I've never seen that
vigorously
movie.
Googling now to find
Well,
out.
Waterboy is where Adam Sandler is like an adult man who lives with his mother, and he is the water boy for a football team, but it turns out that he can actually play football because he's got all this pent up rage or something. I don't know.
So good.
It's really not.
It's really funny.
Can we talk about actual good movies now? Can we talk about fucking Uncut Gems and Good Time? Now that I'm pissed off.
We can continue to talk about good films. Let's do it. So Uncut Gems.
Oh, I fucking hate you. Someday we should do like a stream that's just us watching The Waterboy and
Yes.
you like losing your mind and me just sitting there expressionless, wanting to die.
It's so good.
It's
Henry,
not. It isn't
I'm
at
not
all.
gonna get into it anymore. I know it
shouldn't.
upsets you.
Bridget's still trying to figure out what the fuck this movie is.
She's
She's
like,
sitting over there on her phone like, I don't care what the fuck y'all are saying. I'm trying to figure out what this movie is.
I'm listening to y'all.
did you figure it out?
I think what I'm thinking of is Bubble Boy.
With Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
No, that's the boy in the bubble.
I don't actually
The boy
know.
in the bubble
She said
has
Bubble Boy.
John Travolta in it.
Well, then what the fuck is Bubble Boy? I know about Bubble Buddy, that SpongeBob episode.
Oh my God.
Remember that shit?
I remember it very well.
It haunts me.
Honestly, like with all the abuse I'm taking for hating Adam Sandler, I feel like fucking Bubble Buddy
Abuse.
right now. Everybody's trying to fucking pop
You were
me.
aggressively saying that there's nothing to it, and I'm
Jake
just making the
Gyllenhaal,
point
isn't
that
it?
there's something to it.
You're coming at it more aggressively, like
Yeah,
Doodle Bob.
way more. You're doodle bobbing everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll fucking moy noi. Is that what he says?
Moi, noi, noi.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, correct.
Oh man,
Try to erase me, bitch.
Safety Bros need to reach out to Doodle Bob for their next movie. Since they're just going with more and more ridiculous
Just
people.
that unhingedness of Doodle
Yeah.
Bob honestly works. You know, while Bridget's trying to figure out what the fuck she's talking about, I was reading the IMDb page for Good Time last night, and I found out that the way that Robert Pattinson got involved in that movie is he saw a poster for a movie that they did. He didn't even see the movie.
Yeah.
He saw the poster for the movie.
Yep.
And then emailed them like, hey, I want to work with you. And they were like, this guy's got some weird energy. I love it.
Yeah, he was, man. Whew, oof. I really, it's hard for me to figure out. The best part of both of these movies is there is a lead performance in each one that is literally insane.
Yeah.
Out of this world fucking crazy. I think a lot of people talk about like Lighthouse being Robert Pattinson's best performance. I'm pretty sure it's Good Time.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I like them both for different reasons, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely different. But just like the chaotic energy and like the rapiness to him with that little girl.
Yeah, that was a big yikes. So,
Yeah.
Is that gay rights?
what?
No.
Why would that be gay rights? There's no fucking gay rights about it.
I didn't think there's any
Absolutely
gay rights in
not.
there. In that movie, was
There are
there?
no gay rights to
No
be
gay
found.
rights.
Absolutely devoid of gay rights. That took rights away from gay people. That set us back like 5 years.
I think that took rights away from everybody.
I think so.
It also it had Barkhead Oddby, which I'm a huge fan. So
Who?
I'm the captain now. It had that guy in it.
Who?
Oh yeah,
Barkhead
yeah.
Oddby.
Who did play?
He played the
security
security
guard,
guard
right?
at the theme park. He was
Okay,
good.
That
so
poor
should we-
guy.
Oh.
Should we like maybe talk about kind of what this movie is about a little bit?
Oh, Good Time.
Because I just feel like maybe I don't know, maybe it's just me that like a lot of people didn't see it, but I feel like, especially since
If
we're
you
talking
didn't see
about,
it, you should see it. Right.
well,
off the
yeah,
bat.
but I feel like since we're talking about both Good Time and Uncut Gems kind of together as opposed to doing two separate segments, which is kind of a thing that we normally do,
Mhm.
but because I think these movies are so related, like maybe we should talk about kind of what Good Time is.
Okay, cool. So, Good Time is about two brothers. One of them is mentally disabled, played by one of the directors, actually, Benny Safdie. Fun fact.
Yes, that's true.
Does a great job. And then the other brother, Robert Pattinson. Essentially, Robert Pattinson's character, although he isn't necessarily special needs, he's not.
No, not Robert Pattinson's character.
Yeah, he's not. He's not special needs. What I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
He's even though he isn't technically, I feel like his morality compass is totally lost.
Oh yeah.
And
for sure.
he makes terrible decisions in the name of him and his brother.
Yeah.
And essentially, he convinces this brother that they need to go rob a bank with
For a
the
farm.
scariest
For a farm.
for a farm, so they can move away. I think I remember reading something that it's kind of like that one book.
Mice and Men.
Mice and Men,
I fucking
yeah.
Yeah, Bridget
love
said
that
Yeah,
book.
there's tons of little references to it.
yeah, definitely.
throughout the movie.
200%.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't remember what it was called. That's so ridiculous.
Right.
The Lenny and everything.
yeah.
I know what that is. I've read a book.
I was like, I'm sure you've been to like 9th grade.
Yeah.
Wow, am I the only one that didn't have to read that in school?
I guess so.
I guess.
We
yeah.
did.
I don't even know the concept.
It's a good. Well, you saw Good Time, so you don't need to watch. You don't need to read
Alrighty.
I
anymore.
mean, like, really,
Who
it's,
needs
books?
well,
There we go.
it's a little different.
Go see
It's a
Little
little
Women. Don't
different.
you read? Just move on. Who needs it?
Did you see Little Women?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
I still have to see that, and you know what? We'll get to that anyway. So, they wear the creepiest, most realistic masks
Yeah,
ever.
dude,
Oh my
that
God.
fucking
Unsettling.
freaked me out.
I'm like,
Bridget literally didn't realize they were wearing masks.
That's
at
how. Yeah,
first.
me too. Though when I thought the same thing. I was like, who are these people? And then I noticed like their lips weren't exactly moving. I'm like, oh my fucking god, those are masks.
It was like so scary.
Yeah.
I was so scared.
And then the dumb Robert Pattinson boy, he gets overzealous and he's like, you need to get more of the cash when he walks up to the lady because she can only give him a certain amount. Obviously, at this point, anybody who's seen one fucking bank robbery movie knows there's an ink bag in that fucking bag now. There's an ink
Correct.
cartridge in that fucking bag of money.
And like if he hadn't done that,
They would have been fine.
It would have been fine. He wouldn't have gotten that. They would have gotten away with it. Everything would have been fine. They would have gotten their farm.
And right at this moment where he's robbing the place, I guess a little bit an earlier scene where he breaks in on his brother getting therapy. There's like a little bit of the uncomfortable camera angles, but right when this bank robbery happens, you get what the Safdie brothers bring to the directorial table, what they bring to cinema, and it is uncomfortable scenery, insane like adrenaline, and just uneasiness throughout the whole thing. The moment they walk out of the bank and the friend's not there yet with the car, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then when the friend shows up, they start looking through the bag, the ink bag explodes, and then just pure red across the screen. At that moment, I knew, I was like, this is going to be a great film.
Like,
Yeah.
that was such a cool scene. And like the colors,
Yes.
amazing.
And then you kind of get some realism too, where, the brother, he starts choking on it. And you're like really feeling bad for him because
Yeah,
they're
and he's
walking
like
away.
really freaking out.
And he's like, I'm going
And
to throw up. And he's like,
this entire time, like Robert Pattinson's character has been just like coaching him, being like, "You're fine, you're fine.
yeah, you're beautiful. You're the best. You're the man.
I love you.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gonna take care of you."
Just fucking
I'm your fucking
brainwashing
friend.
him.
Well, you see, that's the thing is there's two perspectives to look at that with. I think you're right. I think that he doesn't realize maybe how much he's coaxing his brother into a situation he doesn't want to be in. But also, I think that Robert Pattinson's character does have genuine care for him.
Yeah.
He
I
just
think
isn't
so.
appropriate and a good caretaker for his brother.
Definitely.
I think that he loves him in like a fucked up way.
Definitely.
yeah, definitely.
I
Well,
think
and I
he
think
thinks
that-
he's doing the best for them and making the best decisions and not realizing like,
There are other ways.
yeah, and
Like-
how horrible of an impact it is because his brother, played by Benny Safdie, is like clearly not able to make his own decisions. His decisions are, well, like, he's able to make some, but not like as big of decisions as.
He's easily influenced.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's right down to the fact where they're walking on the side of they eventually they go into like a pizza place, right? Or like some sort of
Domino's.
restaurant.
It's a
Domino's, baby.
yeah.
That product
Oh my
placement.
God.
They go into the Domino's. They're hiding cash in the ceiling. He's washing the red off of him and his brother. And then, like for half a second, you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, this is going to work out. This shit's great. They're going to be fine. And then a cop pulls up and he tells his brother, like, just be cool. They don't know anything. And of course, because of the mental state of this brother, he thinks, oh, this person knows.
fucking
and he
takes
bolts.
off.
And then, yeah, that's where things go.
Oh God, that made me so nervous.
So
I was so anxious this entire film.
So
This entire film.
Mm-hmm.
subsequently, the brother is played by Benny Safdie. His name is Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Robert Pattinson's character is Connie, for clarity.
Yeah.
So Nick ends up getting arrested, taken to jail.
There's a great chase scene, very reminiscent to like I always think of like the Ocean's movies or things like that. There was, or like more recently, Baby Driver. It kind of reminded me of Baby Driver.
I was gonna say that it reminded me a lot of Baby Driver, especially how like the bad events started unfolding. Like one thing went wrong, then the next it was like domino effect, which is exactly how they did it with Baby
Interesting,
Driver.
because they went to Domino's.
Hey.
Really makes you think.
Yeah.
Really makes you think.
Yeah. But through whatever means you see Nick, right? I always forget the name of the character. It's Nick, right?
Nick
Yeah.
is the
Nick is arrested, and then you see
Nick, but he runs through a glass door, and you're just like,
he does
Jesus
that.
Christ, this kid cannot get a fucking break. Oh my God. And then at that point, you credits start rolling, like the A24 lines and everything, and the productions, and you're seeing the brother in prison, and he doesn't have the mental capability to handle that kind of situation.
And they get like pepper sprayed, which
Pepper sprayed.
I can personally attest that is one of the worst feelings.
Mhm.
I've
Oh
never
God.
I've gotten pepper sprayed before.
I've gotten pepper sprayed.
When have you gotten pepper sprayed?
What the fuck?
You have never told me this.
I
love
definitely
how
told
everybody's
you
like,
this
you got
story.
pepper. I also did. And everybody's like, Bridget got pepper sprayed. Nobody gives a shit why it happened to me at all.
Everybody's curious when a tiny female gets pepper sprayed.
Pepper squirreled.
Pepper
Pepper
squirted. That's what I was gonna say.
Jesus Christ.
So the reason that I was pepper sprayed was because a dumbass on the floor of my dorm was like playing around with this girl's pepper spray in like the first 2 days. Like classes hadn't started yet, but it was just he just was playing around with it and sprayed it all over the place, and I guess didn't let go fast enough, and it spread to the entire fucking floor.
Oh God.
And like by the time that it got to me, like nobody had told me something had happened. So I'm sitting on my bed, and then I'm like coughing. I almost threw up off of my top bunk of my bed, which is the worst thing. And this man with a man bun, actually, that I don't know his name, he came in, opened my door all the way, was like, "Are you good?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Do you need help to get out?" And I said, "Leave me alone." And then he left, and I died.
Oof.
And now you're here, so. But anyway, so the rest of this movie is.
They don't even want me to tell the story.
Wait,
Okay,
how did
tell
you
the
get
fucking
pepper
story.
sprayed?
I
Oh,
wanna
fuck
know.
that. You guys don't get to know now.
Okay, so then the rest of this movie is.
Let him
She's still mad about the water boy thing.
I'm
I
just-
love her.
I'm
Don't
just
worry.
Playing. You can tell the story.
Yeah. Okay. So we were at Mayhem Festival.
Oh, what festival?
Mayhem Festival. And a guy in the pit, I guess, got upset, and he just ran up to the people in like the mosh pit and just started spraying them down.
Dang, that's
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
fuck.
fuck shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I got to go home after that. Oh, it really was painful. And then
Yeah.
like it was the year before. The year before, I went with all my friends. It was like this great memory. The next year, I went with my dad, and he was not happy. And it was just me and my dad, and he was like, "We had to leave early because he got pepper sprayed. This is why I don't do these things." So
Nice.
sad.
Dang.
It hurt a lot.
Yeah. I feel you, Logan.
It's like your eyes are melting. That's the only way to describe it. And it feels like it's
Yeah.
melting with sand in it.
correct.
That's literally
And
how
like
it feels.
you can't breathe.
No, not
And
at all.
like I had asthma. I mean I still have asthma.
And you feel it. What's weird is like you feel the burning sensation in your nose first.
Yes.
It's like that gross like kind of like congestion, but it's just fire.
And I just want to call out Alec. If you're listening to this, you are the biggest dumbass. Like,
Yeah, fuck you, Alec.
hope you're doing well, but goddamn.
But you're a fucking
You
idiot.
gotta quit spraying that pepper, buddy.
I mean, he had to have gotten it worse than anyone. But I don't know why I just didn't get down and like use the stairs. There was back stairs, but they didn't go all the way down. So I could have just used those stairs, gone down to the floor underneath, and then used their stairs out. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't leave my dorm. I just was like, I'm going to write it out.
Nice.
And my windows wouldn't open. That's when I found out my windows didn't open in my dorm. So
I mean, that makes sense.
I guess.
All right.
Alrighty.
So the rest of the movie is basically spent with Connie, Robert Pattinson's character, trying to break his brother free from. Well, he ends up in the hospital because he's not equipped to handle prison life.
He gets in an
subsequently.
altercation over
Yeah.
a TV.
So he ends up in the hospital, and he's trying to break him out of this hospital, and he in fact ends up breaking out the wrong man.
Himbo energy.
That is such a huge jump in the story.
Yeah.
Like in the film, you don't know for a long time.
You don't know
which
until
is
he's
really cool. Like
started making out with an underage girl that.
Yeah, I was big on
out
Comfy.
By the way,
person.
all right,
Uncomfy.
any 13-year-old girls listening to this, if a strange man dyes his hair in your house at 3 a.m,
I think she was 16, but still, any children.
Yeah, children.
Yeah.
They're
People
all the
under
same.
age
Children.
of
Yeah, if you're under the
18,
age of 18, and a strange man just rolls up on your house,
And
even
dyes
if
his
you are
hair.
18 and they're
Don't make
significantly
out
older
with
than
him.
you, like,
that man is a criminal.
Even
he doesn't give a shit about you, dude.
Even if he seems nice, he's not nice.
He's not nice.
mm-mm.
They
Not
never
nice.
are. No men are nice, and you take care to remember that.
I don't think that's true.
Logan is the only nice man I've ever met.
Well, at least I'm the
And my
only
dad.
one. I guess I can't be too mad if I'm the nice one, if I'm
You're
the
a nice
exception.
man out there.
But I don't think-
let that get
below.
go to your head, dude.
I don't think Madison's too happy about that. I think that I've lost that role since the water boy moment.
No, that's not true. I think you're a very nice man, but ladies, don't trust him.
At least a majority. Yeah.
Like any at all.
Especially if they
You'd be
dye
better
their
off.
hair at 3 a.m. and then
With your hair dye.
yeah, that they found under the sink.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
like, I
what
don't
the
know what
fuck?
color your hair is going to turn out, but...
if I was her, I would not share my chicken nuggets though. Like, get the
No.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, also, what were those jars? What were in those jars?
Which jars? There's.
Because there were, like, a bunch of jars in their
grandma-
refrigerator.
Oh yeah, she was. I think she was into like hoodoo and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking it might
or
be,
or
like,
she was super into like a
cures.
celery cleanse or some shit. But
Like,
Yeah, like alternative medicine type stuff.
yeah, that's what I thought.
that screams hoodoo
But-
to me though. I thought actually, fun fact. When I was watching this, I thought it was gonna be like a Wiccan thing, like she was gonna like wake up and like turn him into a fucking tree or something. But
If only.
that's because I've been watching too much Ari Aster films. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
You see, I went like dark with it. I just thought like I guess because of You season 1. Whenever I
Ugh.
see a jar, I just think of a pea jar.
A pea jar. He left it in Peach's house.
Spoilers. For
Oh,
you.
yeah. Sorry.
Spoilers for season 1.
I don't
That
know.
came
I
out.
don't know if you're
That's
caught up
fair.
yet.
If you haven't seen it, watch Dexter first, then watch it because Dexter's better and it's the same thing. But that's
Oof, a
okay.
fight for another day.
I don't agree, but
If you watch both,
I have.
well, I guess to each their own opinion. I don't know. I just get
But-
stalkery, rapey stuff makes me uncomfortable. You know,
The book is worse. The book of You
I've heard
is
it's
so-
really
It's
fucking.
really bad.
He
I
says
heard it's
the word
really
cunt
intense.
to
Yeah.
refer to her vagina, and I had to stop reading.
You know, fun fact: when they went to go pitch that show, Greg Berlanti, who pitched it, he went to the executives and he found out all their secret information by Facebook stalking them, and then revealed it during the pitch. Like, we want a character who can like know that your kids were in West Palm Beach last weekend, and they like started freaking out, and that's how he got the show greenlit.
So funny.
Wild.
Like,
Crazy world.
Crazy world. But good time. I
But
want to talk
good
about
time.
good time so bad because like
God.
I don't know the experience of watching this movie was really interesting to me. Like I was just like on an emotional ride throughout the whole thing, and I think a lot of it is like the camera work, which I find really cool and interesting.
And unsettling.
Yes. And like just like that very jumpy kind of camera movements, but not shaky. Like I don't like when a camera is like shaky all the time. I find it annoying, but it was simultaneously very smooth and also very sporadic in a really cool way, I thought at least. I think my favorite thing about Good Time was the score.
I was about to say I played that score for you a couple
Absolutely.
weeks ago. It's like Drive level score. It's
That
good.
score was so good. Just
That's
that
so
like
funny. I wish I remembered stuff like that from a movie. Like it
It's
doesn't
just
I
like
mean,
that-
I
register.
watched it last night.
that like
guess, yeah.
electronic like ambient almost.
All that synth.
Yeah, I love synth, but like so yeah, it's just like the very ambient, noisy, like it really suited the movie and it really set the tone for the film.
Because what's crazy, it's kind of like if you've ever seen what's After Hours by the Martin Scorsese film. It's like a movie about just one butt fuck crazy night, and that's what Good Time is. It's one insane night.
I love that. Like when you just watch a whole night unfold like that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing from seeing the two Safdie brothers movies, not that I've seen anything else they've done, but I like how they took two like notable like pin down actors like Robert Pattinson is Twilight Boy and Adam Sandler is shitbuck comedy guy, and they like made them so unrecognizable in these movies that you forget you're watching like people that everybody knows.
I think the directors really understand what it means to come off natural, what it means to act. Like acting is kind of it's kind of like a I don't know how to describe it, like a really like know-it-all kind of thing to do. Like you feel like you're hot shit when you're an actor. Those directors really know how to take people and just take them out of it and make it feel really real. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, the girl who plays Julia in Uncut Gems.
Oh my god!
They
so
specified
good.
to her, don't take any acting classes.
Love her.
And that's why she just treated it naturally like she would, and that's why it was great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in their movies are just like cast off the street and like people who haven't really
Wait,
acted
that was-
before.
Yeah, the dudes in
That was
Uncut
her
Gems.
breakout. Like that was her breakout role. Like that.
I
she
think
hadn't
so.
Been in
At least
anything
I
good?
heard the acting thing.
Oh my
She might have
God.
done something else, but
She did so good.
yeah, she was great.
She was really great.
And
Everybody
like-
was so believable.
That was
like in-
also the basketball player's like first big acting moment.
And like in Good Time,
Impressive.
the guy who played Ray, I think that was his first
first big
time
movie.
he ever
Yep.
really.
Who was Ray again? Remind me.
Ray was the guy that he thought was the brother.
The Sprite
like the
bottle
guy
guy.
that he
Oh shit!
that he broke out of jail.
Oh, gotcha. I thought we were back at good.
It's gonna be a flow.
Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I think we're just.
They're
gonna
just
go-
there's too much similarities, and
Yeah.
there's too much to talk about that each movie does well. I think Uncut Gems, one of the things I don't like about it in comparison, not that I like hate it, I think that it's more commercial and it's more of like a full film. Good Time has so much uncomfortable visuals and moments that sometimes it's kind of a dread to sit through. And then Uncut Gems just reeled it back just a little bit. Like it's still over the top and makes you feel fucking horrible, but it's just like a little bit less. Just enough to make it palpable for more people. And
Like-
I don't know if they did that to be more commercial. I think that's an evolution in their filmmaking, but for me, I'm like an indie lover and I want it to be like gritty and like too much, but that's just me.
Like for me, I like that uncomfortableness about it, but I also like to be able to have a little fun.
Yeah, that's definitely what they added to Uncut Gems
And
for sure.
yeah, that's what I got out of Uncut Gems. It's like I had a little more fun and there was a little more humor in it. And like, you know, watching Good Time, it's really weird because when Connie, Robert Pattinson's character, finds out that he's got the wrong dude, Ray, and he's like, and like Ray is like, well, I don't know what the fuck happened, and he starts launching into this just like long tale about this crazy
Very Tarantino.
yeah, no, it literally reminded me. I was literally just about to say it reminded me of the scene in you guessed it, Reservoir Dogs, where Freddie or Orange is practicing his amusing anecdote that he's got to tell these gangsters about the dog in the bathroom. Not that Bridget would know, but
That was tough.
I just caught her looking at me. But yeah,
I was listening to you.
he goes into this like long crazy tale about how he had just got out of prison that day and he somehow ended up getting involved with this like weird acid deal situation, and like it's a whole thing, and I really liked that moment and I found it like very like kind of funny and amusing, and I liked the tone of it, but not in this movie.
Yeah, that was like the only levity to the movie.
And it didn't actually feel like it belonged there.
And it wasn't very levitating for
Well,
long.
no,
I'll
so,
say-
like I wanted a little bit more of. I would have liked either a little bit more of moments like that, or for that moment not to have been there.
Yeah.
Because it just
In
it
my
felt weird
opinion-
tonally.
hmm I think that scene would have worked better if it was right when we found out that wasn't Nick, and it just flashed to that scene of that guy.
Yeah, I
Because
think that would
the
have
way
kept,
it worked in the film was like, in the 3 minutes she's in White Castle, here's my story, and he tells him everything, and I'm like, this is kind of fucking bullshit. But it's still a cool scene.
I liked the dynamic of him telling his story because I thought that was fun, and I thought the way that he told it was fun. But I just didn't like it. It just didn't match that movie's tone. It was a weird tonal shift. To have that like sort of light moment, that moment we can kind of have a little fun. Whereas Uncut Gems sort of was able to really balance those like funny moments with the like dark and uncomfortable stuff.
I think a lot of that too was carried on the back of Adam Sandler.
I think so too. I mean, I think that that he has an ability to. I don't think that he's not funny.
People keep saying that he like that they're doing a big thing for him, and that may be true. Like they're offering him a cool place to like show off, but I think he brought a lot to that film.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely a lot of things that were either improvised or thought of on the day that he did that was really intentional. You can tell just by the performance.
And I think with the way he acts, like, and just like how fast he is, like, and you see that a lot in his comedy, that kind of added to like the chaos of the movie because you're never like comfortable or calm during Uncut Gems. And I think that was a lot of Adam Sandler too.
And Lakeith Stanfield, by the way, also great. I love him in everything. Everything he's doing, he's good. That guy's gonna be like the next big actor. I can tell.
Remind me who he played.
He was like the guy that was helping him like give the jewelry to like the basketball players. He's been in Knives Out. And he was the guy with
the fake watches.
Yeah. He's been in Knives Out. He was in Get Out. A lot of outs. But everything he's in, he like brings a whole another level to it. I cannot wait for him to get like a big leading role. He was even good in that Death Note movie.
Oh, he was in that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He did so good and like felt so like genuine that like you feel like all these actors are doing this for the first time. Like not.
There is no
acting.
universe. There is no universe where a girl would rather fuck Adam Sandler over the weekend, though. I just want to throw that out there.
I mean,
Franny is the one who.
That's true, Fran. If we come out of this movie.
In that movie, definitely Adam Sandler versus.
I don't know
The
what
Weeknd.
the fuck you're talking about.
See, that's what makes me feel bad about myself because he literally gained weight and acted like grosser.
God,
they put moles on him to make him grosser. And Fran's over here like, is it me or is like Adam Sandler like kind of a fucking piece?
Oh fuck, sorry. And we were all like, no, he's
I
not.
like my man a little rough around the edges.
No, not at all. He's literally like this skeevy guy. Like
he's so skeevy.
He's the Good Morning Julia guy.
Oh God.
He's a
Good Morning Julia. Have you seen that video?
I don't know.
I want to be his Julia.
There's this amazing video. I'm just gonna tell this quick story. There's this amazing video of this guy. He like stalked this girl at Planet Fitness and got her phone number, and then sent her a video. And it was like, "Good morning, Julia. I hope you're doing well today, my flower." And he looks exactly like Adam Sandler in this movie. I'm not kidding. There might be some correlation because their character in the film is also named Julia. So I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
And he also says, "Good morning, Julia," doesn't he?
I'm about to fucking die. If
When
this is
I'm
related,
connecting the dots.
oh my
You're
gosh.
connecting shit.
Good morning, Julia. And like in the background, he has like 1,000 ceiling fans in the house he built, and he talks about how he built his house. He's like,
he did the crown molding.
I did the crown molding, all for you, Julia. Whatever you need, if you need me to build you something, I'll build you something.
My
Julia.
flower, my soon to be forever.
Yeah. My soon to be ever for love. All right, I love you. Mwah.
Is that what he says for real?
Yeah.
Yes, literally.
He gets her number. Like she says, like, oh, like you can put your number in my phone, and then he calls himself to give.
I would play the
himself her
audio.
number.
I would play the audio in the cast because I can, but I think all the videos for it has music on it. I don't want to get copyright strike. But yeah,
yeah, he's disgusting.
No,
yeah. In this, he
is
literally
not
is
disgusting in this. I thought I wanted to be his Julia. Like, oh my God.
Oh.
Ew.
You have issues.
That's gross.
Maybe this brought up my issue.
Yeah, maybe just a bit.
But no, I thought it was fun. I liked their dynamic too. Just how fucking crazy she was too, and how fucking crazy he was.
Yeah, I mean, like
the ass tattoo that she got of his name.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was
Me
such
and
a
Bridget
hot
were
moment.
literally talking about that tonight. I thought that was one of the, like, the thing I like about Uncut Gems is like that it had what I like in my like heisty crime movies, even though this wasn't. Well, I mean, I guess it was.
He was heisting everybody
Yeah,
else.
he was heisting. So it had what I like in those kinds of movies, which is that it actually had like a lot of humor in it. Like it felt more realistic to me than maybe Good Time did.
Wow, you think this? I mean,
Yeah, I see
Well,
that. This
yeah.
felt more realistic.
there
than
is
Good
like
Time.
there's a dream likeness
And I think that's
to
sort of,
Good Time.
I think that's intentional because I
Yeah.
think Well, I want to say this real quick about the ass tattoo because I'm on it and it's so funny.
I love it.
It was like the funniest moment in the movie with me when she shows him his ass tattoo and he's like, "Oh my god, baby, now you can't even get buried with me." And I thought it was the funniest fucking
so
thing.
good.
I lost my mind.
He's like, no, I'm not worth it. No, you can't even get buried with me now.
I love how
that.
like that ass tattoo just like rekindled their relationship, you know, like
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah,
dude.
sometimes you just got to get that
he
ass
was like-
tat.
Like, who's gonna do
2
that for me?
seconds.
Bridget, are you gonna do that for me?
Yeah.
Wow, the silence.
Franny already told me she'd do it.
oh yeah,
I hope her family's
Like
listening.
when
Honey,
we're
man.
old lesbians, yeah.
What about now? We're young, baby. Life's crazy. Let's do it. Get my name tattooed on your ass.
Like
That'd be gay rights.
That would
That'd
be very,
be gay
very
rights.
gay rights of you to do that.
I feel like you should get gay rights tattooed on your ass.
I
Madison.
should. I would do that.
That'd be gay rights for sure.
are you gonna get my name tattooed on your ass?
Tell you what, if you donate to the Patreon, I'll get the gay rights tattooed on my ass, and I'll post a pic.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
She'll do it.
That
I
has
will
to.
do it. There's
But
nothing
like
that will stop me.
that's at least $20 a month though.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like you can't just put in like $1 a
No,
month.
it has to cover the cost of the ass tattoo. I'm not gonna.
And like, she's gonna need moral support of like money in her hands.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but anyway, back to like Uncut Gems felt very realistic, and I think one of the reasons of that is because it's constantly everyone is talking at once.
Oh my god. It
like
was so
nobody has nobody has their
that's
fucking
kinda-
moment to just say their words.
That's kind of both movies though. It's just the only reason it doesn't feel that way for a lot of good time is because there's not a lot of people.
yeah.
But the people in the room are talking over each other like the whole time.
I like how it didn't feel like scripted even in Uncut Gems.
yeah, it just felt like a
it
bunch of
was
people like yelling
happening.
at each other all the
Yeah,
time.
it just felt like it was happening in front of you, not like it was planned.
The scene that kind of like that I can really draw like close that they're very similar in each film is when Lakeith Stanfield is going through the safe versus at Good Time when he's trying to pay his brother's bail. Both
Yeah.
those scenes are very similar, but I think you're right in the sense that there is like an unscriptedness to the Uncut Gems version of it. Like they're not being quippy, they're just crying and yelling over each other.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's really effective.
And like I think in Good Time it's sort of intentionally unrealistic.
Mhm.
I was reading a lot of like the IMDb and the Wikipedia for Good Time because I wanted to know a little bit more about these characters because I was really interested, and so I ended up finding like sort of the backstory that the Safdie brothers sort of created for this Connie character, and it was really interesting. And one of the things about it is so he had been in prison before, and he was sort of in contact with his brother while he was in prison and was sort of convincing him that like this is what they need to do. And in prison he sort of found faith. He found faith in a higher power, in this belief in this like sort of having a purpose and like things being ordained for him. And so in the movie, like everyone's kind of like disaffected a lot, like especially during the bank robbery scene. Like Bridget said to me, like she doesn't even look scared. And I think that speaks to like how Robert Pattinson's character is seeing things.
Yeah.
I think like the dreaminess of it is because we're looking through the eyes of Connie.
Connie.
Sorry, I got confused for a second. Fucking Adam Sandler, little Nicky, what?
Little Nicky.
What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
rob a bank.
Please don't, God, I can't handle it
I
right
know
now.
you hate
I can't
that voice
I
the
can't
most.
take it right now.
KFC.
You ever think about the fact that like Quentin Tarantino is like the whole ass in that movie?
Yeah. Isn't that great?
I know, it's fucking ridiculous. But anyway,
I mean, we saw Adam Sandler's
You know,
ass.
but more onto your point, I think it really like that is so true because at the very end, when you're seeing him drive away in the cop car, you're seeing him behind bars and he's seeing himself the same way for the first time.
Yeah.
Because the bar is in the back of the car. So it's like he's kind of coming to the realization like, oh yeah, I guess I am. I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm not as above everybody else. I'm totally fucking caught.
and we know we're seeing it through his eyes because of the camera work, actually, in a really cool way. Like in the very beginning of the film, actually, the camera is very stable. You know, it's really just kind of like a very simple, very stable shot of like, you know, you're flashing between Nick and the therapist and like, you know, sort of getting that conversation in a very conventional way. And then as soon as Robert Pattinson's character enters the room, it's fucking everywhere. Like, I noticed it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the film, after we get away from Robert Pattinson and we're watching, which is a fucking
That end
heartbreaking
of the,
scene.
I know,
Like,
dude.
I can't, I don't even want to talk about that. at this
You even
moment.
just mentioned it. I was like almost welled up.
Yeah, I know. But
That was, ooh, that end.
But like in those moments.
The end where he's like with the class and they're like crossing sides and you're just like,
God.
it's like, have you ever been lied to? And he just like walks across. I'm like,
I thought that he didn't walk across. He said, "Have you ever been lied to?"
no. It's that. I think it was, have you ever lied? He didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It was
But
tough.
yeah, and so like when we come back to just to like Robert Pattinson's character being away, the camera is again very stable and very traditional and conventional camera movements. And so that's how you know that you're seeing it through this character's eyes, because everything is like fucking crazy. And everyone is kind of disaffected. And like, I mean, because you see this character like literally fall out of a window and everybody's just kind of like, oh, like nobody's like, oh, you know. And
that,
like I think
that aerial shot when he's getting chased by the
I know,
cops.
that was so amazing. And then
So
seeing him
good.
come out of that window was shocking. Like in both of these movies, in both Good Time and Uncut Gems, like I had a moment when I literally audibly gasped.
Yeah, they really know how to give you the tension of when he's, oh my gosh, when they're hanging Adam Sandler's character Howie outside of the window.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And you're just sitting there and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my
I'm
God.
pretty sure I heard one of you say no, but I'm not sure. It could have been Franny.
It was probably
All I know
me.
is that I just heard no, and I was like, what?
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, they just do such a good job of like keeping like it. Like this movie takes off at 100 miles an hour and then does not slow down whatsoever. Like somebody cut the fucking brakes, because it's like it's literally
Both
not
movies,
stopping.
pretty much, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. And I really like that. Like, it's. I think it's really a matter of preference. Like, some people who've seen this movie have told me that they felt that it was like too much. It was too chaotic. They didn't feel like they didn't get a break.
Could you imagine if they saw a Good Time though?
Oh my God, I know. But yeah. But like, I like that in a movie. And I like when a movie has a very consistent energy, and this movie did that. And I like movies with a lot of energy, you know. So I really liked Uncut Gems, especially. I liked. This is what I said earlier before we started. Like, I think that Good Time is a good movie, but I did not enjoy the experience of watching it.
No, there's definitely not any fun to be had. And generally you walk away kind of upset at everything that happened. You know, like there's never any moment where the character in itself did anything redeeming. Like Adam Sandler's character did some things.
Yeah.
You know, like Robert Pattinson's character, no, nothing. He was just a shit asshole. And even downright to when he was like, telling the other dude, like, like you are less than me. You're just an idiot. Like you're just a drug addict. And he's like, you are less than I am. It's like, what a fucking dick. Like you're the asshole who robbed a bank earlier today,
Right.
you fucking douchebag.
And he believes it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think it's really interesting. I don't know. I'm like Bridget was making some really interesting comparisons, like we said, like to the mice and men thing, and like, yeah, just like the superiority about him. I don't know.
Yeah, and the whole scene with the dogs, that was another thing where I was like, I don't know if I love that. Like I get that it's supposed to be dreamlike, but for me the dog stuff in Good Time was a little kind of corny in comparison.
Like he said he was
Everything
into
else was
dogs.
so like, hyper noir realistic in its dreamlikeness, whereas like it's like, oh no, I have the power of dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Bridget, what did you think about that? I'm interested to hear your take on his like dog thing.
I mean, like,
He's like Caesar Milan or some shit.
I was trained as a dog trainer at Petco. Like,
At where? At Pet Store Name Redacted?
at pet store name redacted. And it's really, from that point of view, it's really all about body language.
Mm.
And so, I mean, like, maybe it's possible, but I don't know. He said that dogs love him, and they do. And he did have the owner of the dog's like clothes on as well, so he might have smelled
But earlier
familiar.
in the movie, he was dogs love me.
Well, and he also
Yeah.
said, I think I used to be a dog in a past life, which
Yeah.
is really interesting.
And I think that
Yeah.
kind of just shows more like Madison's been saying that it's from his perspective. Because, I mean, you don't really get clarity if for sure the dogs are following him that exactly like he's thinking they are, you know?
I mean,
You know
he's
what I'm
definitely
saying?
an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, exactly.
sure.
And I like that in a movie.
I do too.
You don't know if you're being lied to about certain aspects.
Yeah. So, and like with that, I kind of want to ask the question. There's sort of this almost this debate in the movie where it's like the way that Robert Pattinson's character skews it, it's that the grandma is terrible to Nick. The way that the grandma skews it is that it's Robert Pattinson that's terrible and that causes all of these problems. So I'm kind of interested to hear like sort of what you think about that and sort of what you think about his character. I want your thoughts, but I want Bridget's thoughts too.
Okay, not Franny's though.
Not mine. Fuck me.
Get the fuck
Well,
out
no,
of here.
I obviously want Franny's thoughts, but like I feel like me and Bridget held off to kind of talking about this.
We did.
And so, like, I didn't get to hear what you thought about it when we watched it last night, so that's why I was saying that. But I want everyone's thoughts.
I am now redacting my thoughts. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Oh,
I'm the one that
whatever
should
will
redact
you
my
do?
thoughts. Jeez.
I want everyone's thoughts. I'm sorry. All I have are negative thoughts.
We just think of that picture with all the...
The
He
negative
won
thoughts.
that heckin' Golden Globe, boy.
Yeah, you did do that.
Who did?
Joaquin Phoenix
Joaquin.
won it over. Adam Sandler wasn't even nominated, so there's that.
Oof.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Like, kind of what did you think about their relationship, and like did like kind of who did you believe in the scenario? And I don't know. I just want to know your thoughts about it because this is what I really wanted to ask you last night, but I didn't want to do it because I wanted to save it for now.
So it's hard because he is an unreliable narrator. Like, is he really a good brother? Like, we're led to believe he is, but I don't think he is in a lot of ways. And I mean, we see this when he like pulls his brother to therapy. Like, his brother clearly needs this therapy that he is being given. So I don't know. But then also, a lot of times it's like a mixture of things. Like, the grandma says he's terrible, that Connie is terrible. And Connie says the grandma is terrible and abusive. So, I mean, like, really, it's probably a mixture, realistically.
I mean, at one point, he literally, like, when the therapist is talking to him, he says that he threw a pan. That whole thing with the, you remember that early on?
Yeah, I do. And he said that she was throwing things at him first.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's clear that there's more than one person in Nick's life that is mistreating him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I guess my question too is, we sort of talked about this a little bit, but like, do you think that Connie's sort of manipulation of Nick was a conscious one? Or do you think that it comes from a place of being like, this is my purpose and I have to take care of him?
I think it's absolutely like I have to take care of him, and the guy
Yeah,
just doesn't
I
have a
agree.
good head on his shoulders.
And like, he thinks this is the only way to take care of his brother.
I don't think it's something as simple as he's like, I can manipulate, because there's just, if you're that kind of person, you're not fighting all night and literally going to prison trying to get him out. I think that he feels responsible for him, and he just doesn't know how to be a real grown up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that he also manipulates everybody. Like, he manipulates a 16-year-old girl into letting him.
Yeah.
He manipulates the grandmother.
Absolutely.
Oh, you
yeah.
can say there, and he manipulates Ray into like going along with his weird scheme, and Ray did not have to do that. And like, yeah, I think that he like loves his brother in a way that's extremely misguided.
Definitely.
And
Like,
he feels
I think
justified by it.
yeah, I mean, I think that he loves him and cares about him deeply, but not in the right way. And he doesn't really respect his autonomy as a person. He thinks that this is something that he has to take care of. And like, and I think the idea about like living out on a farm or whatever, I think that's sort of like an unrealistic goal. Like, I think that he believes it can happen. But like, what does this guy know about living in the woods? You know? Like, and so yeah, I just think that it's really interesting dynamic to play with. Because in both Good Time and Uncut Gems, it's driven by this character who is just delusional.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delusional and manipulative, and has
Yeah.
a big influence over everybody
Yeah.
around him. Because I know we were talking about a lot right after about the relationship with Julia and Howie, and like if it was abusive, but it's clearly like abusive on both ends.
Yeah, vicious
Mhm.
circle. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it's-
not one way.
No, definitely
Although
not. They're both manipulating each other.
Who was it? I think it was Bridget who was like,
Bridget.
I feel so bad for Julia. I'm like, dude, she's
No,
got like
she
a
fucking
million
loved
bucks
it.
now,
She
dude.
fucking loved every
mean-
second of it. She was there for it. She wanted the thrill, and they even said in the movie, like she was like, you knew what this was from the beginning when she was talking to Howie.
Yeah, I think that in regards to the Julia character, who is like one of the characters I liked the most in the movie, I thought she was really interesting, is that she loved the fucking crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
She was
like when
fucking
she
nuts.
was leaning out that window, grabbing that bag, she was loving that shit. Like, just the excitement and the thrill of it. Like, I didn't feel bad for her because she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she was a hard
And
ass.
that kind of shows the difference between like the manipulation that like Howie and Connie, like their difference in Good Time and Uncut Gems. Because in Uncut Gems, Howie was manipulative, but not to somebody that didn't want to be a part of what they were doing. Whereas with Connie and Nikki didn't know what he was doing. Nikki was too easy to manipulate, whereas Julia like wanted to be there and wanted to be a part of it.
Like,
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
you get what
yeah.
I'm saying? It kind of like mirrors itself.
like the thing that I think about when I think about Uncut Gems is that like Howie's character is the guy that thinks that if he says it louder, it makes him right. And so
Ooh.
like he's just like yelling over people, and somehow he manages to like steamroll them into giving them what he wants. Whereas in Good Time, it's a different sort of manipulation.
It's like quiet kind of seeding into your brain manipulation.
Yeah. Whereas like, and I think that's sort of the difference between Good Time and Uncut Gems fundamentally, is that Good Time is a lot quieter.
Yeah. But
Uncut
they both
Gems
center
is-
around a narcissistic, manipulative dickhead.
Yes.
So
Just a different kind of manipulator.
I also want to point out the beginning of Uncut Gems with Ethiopia and all that stuff, I found to be totally pointless.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
a
I
little
was
bit.
literally getting a drink during that time and
I
missed the
mean,
whole thing and didn't feel like
You
I
know,
missed
when
anything.
we and I think Franny made a good point where I think the movie works better if it would have just started right at the colonoscopy.
Because
then
I
you would've
missed the Ethiopia scene, so I was like, oh, like the movie
but then
started.
you start the movie inside of him and end it inside of him, like Franny said. I was about to give you
I
credit.
was saying what I was saying, and you just steamrolled me.
I was just making sure that you were gonna say that same thing.
I was
instead of a different
literally gonna
point.
say the same thing.
All right, well, I believe in you. I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you.
I mean, I kind of think that the Ethiopia scene was important because
Was it?
it's sort of about history, right? And like, where do things come from?
But like, is that what we came for though, or did we come to see the inside of Adam Sandler's ass?
Good point.
I
rest.
also think
the
that
defense
the
rests.
YouTube video that he shows suffices just fine. If you're gonna have
Yeah.
one, don't have the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think the YouTube video was
I agree
necessary,
with that
but like,
one.
I liked the Ethiopian scene because
I did
it's
too.
I
like,
like the YouTube video better. Like,
I think
And-
that either one is fine, but you don't need to sit here and explain this fucking thing to me again. I just saw it minutes ago. I know what this is.
but yeah, it's like, I mean, I think the point of it is, you know, where do things come from? Where do the things that we give power, where do we get them from? And I also think that in quiet ways, both of these movies, Good Time and Uncut Gems, have something to say a little bit about race.
And class.
No?
I mean, I suppose. I think it has more to say about class than race.
I mean, I think that Good Time certainly has something to say about race. And
Good
I think,
Time more so than Uncut Gems, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, I think to hear them talk about it too, they'll freely say like, yeah, we thought about race issues a lot, especially during Good Time.
I think Good Time, it's very present, but I think with Uncut Gems, maybe it's a little present, but I just got the vibe of this is the Diamond District of New York. This is the snakiness of people who are trying to pull it over on richer people. That's the vibe I got more so, and and to me that's more of a class thing. But
Well, I think especially with like the Ethiopian, like black Jewish people in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I think that like, it sort of nods to like who are we exploiting
And
to get what we want, to get these things that
That
we
still
just
feels like
attribute
a
value
class
to.
thing to me, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, he makes a point to say that they're black Jews, and I think that
Yeah.
that's important.
yeah, and like the discussion with the basketball player, he points out like the basketball player points out that like he's taking this gem and selling it for like way more than he got it, and like
I think if this is a point,
he wasn't selling it for way more than he got it for.
I thought he was.
I think if the point with the black Jew thing was purposeful, it was way more nuanced than we're coming off right now. There's no way you're getting that from a first view in full. Maybe you are, but I definitely think that most people are going to pick up on the class thing before the race thing. It's not that the message isn't there, but I think the message of race and class are already intertwined anyway due to like systemic oppression. But
yeah.
I think that it definitely, like, what you're going to get from it on first watch is the class stuff. I mean, yeah, like you said, the race stuff is there, but that's definitely not something I picked up on when I watched it.
I mean, I think, like, when I think about it in conjunction with Good Time, I see it a little more.
Yeah.
That was really weird. I just heard, like, the weirdest noise. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. I heard it, too.
It was very strange. Yeah, I don't know. But I think that the Ethiopian scene was important because it has to do with like where are things coming from, and I think it's really cool because like the way that scene unfolds is like you're looking into the gem, and then the gem becomes him that you end up being inside of. And
yeah.
So like, and I think that's a really cool sort of like, especially because like of what the gem represents to Howard. It represents in a way himself, and in a way like coming from something and finding, and like the finding of something, and so like the fact that becomes him, I think is really cool, and I think that's a really cool thing that scene does. And again, I want to like say like the score and the ambient noise of Uncut Gems is like so good,
and the music from The Weeknd was great.
Yes, amazing, really,
really great stuff. I never wanted to hear The Weeknd talk about his penis, but that was interesting. But the music, just the performance that it was just like an uncut performance, like right in the middle of the movie, and it was great, and it totally worked with the scene and the ambience and everything. Yeah, it was awesome.
Just like the ambient noise of the score and like the very electronic, like pulsating almost. I thought it was really cool, and just like that opening scene and just like the visuals of it were so cool. Like nothing was going on on the screen really, except for like the colors and the visuals of like, the inside of a body and like the gems refracting and stuff like that. But it was really, really cool. It almost reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey in a way.
Wow.
Oh, I can totally see that.
Wow, that's yeah, definitely.
I mean, just because like the very abstractness of it, but then you've got this like really cool like
Franny's over here like, what movie you guys talking about?
Bigness
never
of
seen
everything.
it.
Like
Franny hasn't seen it.
Like this is gonna be the most like pretentious sentence to come out of my mouth, but like it's like both macroscopic and microscopic at the same time, and so you've got these like things working on different levels, and it's all very abstract and ambient, but then also at the same time you know where you are, and it becomes clear.
It is the loosest analyzation of a character I've ever seen. It's like a loose writing of like an actual like analyzation of something. You know what I mean? Like you are going in on who this character is and what's going on, but it's almost like you're doing it from like the back seat.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very definitely. It's very airy. You don't always know exactly how he's taking in some information, like what's real. Like I was honestly shocked at how upset he was about the whole Weeknd thing. I really was, because he just like didn't seem to give a kind of fuck about that stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, it made sense to me because he's a prideful character.
Yeah.
And like his whole character is about
before
like
that he's a snake though, and he was trying to do business with the Weeknd. So it was crazy to see that take over, We're like, oh, he's not just like he's not just about like closing and making the deal.
Yeah,
like,
and the making of the deal is very much about pride for him.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
I think, and he says like, what matters is winning, and what matters is showing people that you cannot be stepped on.
He's the most disgraced, proud person ever. He's constantly just like lying and lying and lying and getting hit in the face and avoiding
because
people.
he thinks that he can come back from it.
Mm-hmm. But
And
that's where you see like the least proud person ever, where he'll grovel and beg, but also he's like, "Fuck you, I'm better than you." It's such a weird dynamic.
Yeah, and I think it's like, I think that he's physically unable to die a loser, if that makes sense. Like, he grovels because in that moment the pride thing is not about that moment, but it's about the winning of it, I think. Which is why, like, when he talks to Julia, sometimes he's very like, I don't deserve it, I'm not worth it, whatever. But then, like, when it comes to her fucking trying to fuck the weekend, he's like, no, like,
you're not worth me. Like,
you're not worth me.
Fucking trash. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because he thinks that he's better, and that the things that are happening to him are not his fault, and therefore he has to be the comeback kid of it, essentially. And I think that's sort of what it's about, and that's essentially what he tells the basketball player, whose name I can't think of right now.
Kevin Grant, Kevin something.
I don't know, but
he was fucking great.
I know he was.
He
so
is not
good.
an actor, and he was so
it.
good.
He really did it, dude. Like,
I was so blown away by that, because usually like you see these, athletes come to acting and it's
you're
not
like,
great.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, these directors, they know how to capture performance.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, more people need to do that.
Yeah, and so I think that he's fundamentally very prideful, and I think something that Bridget said too, which I'd like to hear you talk about, like how like the importance of winning in this movie.
Well, the basketball player like talks about at the very end. He's like, winning is everything, or something to that extent, when he's doing an interview after having won this game that wins Howard like so much money, like $10 million. I don't remember.
I don't remember how much.
It was a lot of money,
but
he's like, winning is everything, and then we see Adam Sandler, who's dead, who was shot.
Yeah. That was holy shit.
But like, he died a winner, and winning is everything. So it doesn't really matter that he's dead, because he won and he has a smile on his face.
Can we rewind for a second though and talk about that death scene though?
I want to say that Bridget, it just perfectly captured what I was trying to say much more concisely about the importance of the winning thing, and like, thank you for doing that for me, because you made more sense.
Well, yeah, I think that she, with the smile on the face alone,
exactly,
that throws. But I have to talk about the death scene in general though. I think we all do.
I think it's
because
time to do a
I'm not
group
fucking
therapy
okay.
about it.
I'm not okay. I'm literally not okay. I don't. Did anybody see that coming in that way?
No.
Well, no, but like the thing about it is like, it was shocking. I remember gasping. I was like, because I just did not expect it to happen, especially because you're like so high with him right there.
Mm-hmm.
You that energy that he has is palpable from the seat in the theater. Like, you are on top of the fucking world because he's on top of the fucking world. And that speaks to like the Safdie brothers' ability to craft the scene. Like, I really think it's all in the camera work.
Definitely.
And so I want to give credit to the cinematographer, whose name I don't know, but like wherever you are, dude.
Yeah.
Good fucking job. You really did that shit.
You really did.
But yeah, so I think like, and so like, you're just like, you're so up, and you're so like, especially because this guy has been making the dumbest fucking decisions imaginable for the longest like time. And you're like, okay, finally, like, something he does is paying off. Jesus fucking Christ. And then as soon as it does, it's like, bam. And then you're just floored by the fact that that just happened. And it's a really awesome scene. Like, I'm still thinking about that scene and how cool it was. But then when you go back and think about the movie, there's no other way this could have ended.
Yeah, that's what's so funny about it is once you kind of get into the trap, later on you're like, well, yeah, what the fuck else could have happened? You know, I was thinking the same thing, and it's like not even what else could happen, but there's not even another dynamic in which he could have been killed. Like that was just he was waiting.
Yeah.
That glass door, as soon as it was open, you knew he was fucking gone. You should at least we should have known, but we were just riding so high on what was happening.
And like, in the fact that we don't realize it shows like how much we are with him in this movie. Even if you don't fucking like the guy, which I don't think anybody does.
Well, not like him, but you just there's something about him where you just want him to win one, you know? Because he's just so fucking
then he
pitiful.
does win one, and then he blows it again. And like, and if this movie didn't have the ability to make you be on this ride with this character, you'd be sitting there like, what the fuck? Of course he's gonna die. But you don't see it that way because it's all about the next win for him and therefore for you. Because this movie like so much puts you right up close and in his face that you can't see what else is going on. If that makes sense.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense because it takes like the movie took like the whole concept of him should be very unlikable. It's a guy that spends other people's money, like makes bad decisions, cheats on his wife, like is a shit dad,
A gambling addict.
a fucking gambling addict, like just down on his like just at every turn, like nothing's working out for him. But I think in the sense that nothing's working out for him, you start rooting for this character without even realizing it. And he's a salesperson. He's charming and like you don't notice it, but like you're on their character's side the whole time. And I think you really notice it at the end when he dies. And we all gasp and we were all like, we're not okay. Besides you, Madison, you're like, I can't picture that ending any other way.
Well,
I mean,
I just wanted him to win.
in the moment though, even though like I think we're both in agreement on that we didn't see any other way it could end. But in the moment, you're like, how the fuck could it end that way?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like, once you think back on the movie, you're like, obviously, this is the way that it's going to go. And they've been giving you that, the fact that the door doesn't work and that chamber the entire movie.
I like how you got a lot of payoff.
Yeah,
For
from
everything that they
That
did
was
prior, you got payoff for.
that was so Black Christmas with the door not working.
Oh,
Like,
that was.
I was
Good
like,
point.
is this a Black Christmas reference? Like literally, like the door being the whole plot point, like that. Anyway, sorry.
And I like how those two like collectors following him were like just like this gloom in the background
Mhm.
of his life. Just every time something seemed like it was going good, they were still there. So it just showed like this like darkness just following him around.
He was attacked and his clothes were stripped off at his daughter's play.
Exactly. Like a moment that you think should be good just like gets taken from this character every single time. That's why like winning is so big, and that's why like us as an audience just wanted this character to win once.
Do you think he resurfaced his pool?
Oh, yeah, he totally
He
resurfaced
fucking
his
did that
fucking pool.
shit.
You know he,
totally
did it. You know he resurfaced his fucking pool.
What? I don't know who told you that. Like, you know.
I never did that.
I would never do that to you. I don't know who told. Like, you totally
You saw
did.
that apartment he was keeping his
Well, you know he's right because
Julia in,
that
like-
guy is family, so he would know about
Yeah.
a resurfaced pool. So you're like, you fuck, you totally did.
I love the way you find out he's family.
Yeah.
Just there and
Yeah.
oh, that was so good.
That's tough. Also, fun little fact that his children are named the same names as the director. So I'm just as the directors. I wonder if there's some real life influence with this. If that was just like a little nod, because the movie's also set in 2012 for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I think it has to do with the Celtics. Actually, like in specific, I think it has to do with them winning that game.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure, but that would make sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that the movie, like, I didn't like this character at all.
I
I thought he
liked
was a
him.
fucking scum. Just because you want to bone him, it's different.
I mean,
No, there is
No.
something kind of likable about him, but not in the sense that you're like he's a good person, but just like you just
like, wow, like, look at this fucking man's.
like you just kind of like I liked him in the sense that like I enjoyed his outlook on things. I thought he was funny, but I also felt bad for him.
I didn't feel bad for him. I didn't. Like, it's the
Really?
consequences of your own actions, dude.
I guess.
Like, yeah, well, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. That was me the entire movie. Because, like, he did it to himself. Like, that's the thing about being a gambling addict is that he will never be satisfied with what he's got. And so when he had that big win and he's going to make this, like, when he finally sells the gem and he's going to make this other bet, Bridget goes, no, don't. Like, literally out loud next to me. And because it's frustrating.
That's what I heard. I heard no, don't. I knew I heard somebody.
Because he was trying to make his other bet when he just sold the gem and was able to pay off the guys. He was like, oh, let's do this instead.
And you just watch him make all these mistakes and you just want to like reach into
You're
the
just like-
screen and like grab him, shake him and be like, fucking stop it.
But like, it doesn't occur to you that he's gonna die at the end of this movie.
No,
because
I
you're
didn't think
just
he would.
riding along with him. It doesn't occur to him that he's gonna die. He thinks that he's gonna catch his big break and he's gonna have it made. He doesn't. It doesn't occur to him that he cannot stop.
And
Because
shouldn't.
because you don't like, you know, it's hard for people to realize that they're like in the throes of addiction when they're in them.
You're right.
Like, he doesn't realize that he's got a problem. He doesn't realize that he literally physically cannot prevent himself from making these bets.
I think he does know, because there's a moment where he breaks down. He's like, I'm no good. I'm a piece of shit. I think that there's some self-awareness, but his addiction is so strong.
I mean,
He can't do
I don't think
anything
that
about
his,
it.
like, I'm no goodness is because of the addiction. I think it's because he just lost all this money because
I think that
the deal went wrong.
there's
he's losing.
there's a stereotype about addicts that, like, and this is me saying that you're perpetuating this, but there's a stereotype about addicts that they're just like not self-aware. It's like when you lie to your parents when you're in 4th grade. It's like they know what the fuck you're talking about. They know that you're lying to them. They're adults. And the same thing with addicts. They know that they have a problem. It's the addiction that's stopping them from doing anything about it.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
mean,
he's
like,
aware.
I mean, like, I think that he doesn't. I don't know. I kind of get the sense that he's always like, well, this will be the last time once I have this big win.
That's an addict, though, right there. That's absolutely an addict.
And so in that way, I'm saying that, like, I don't think he's aware that he literally cannot stop. Because because I think I get the sense that he's always like, well, this will be the last one.
Yeah, and a lot of like that mentality, like not to stereotype addicts, but I've heard like they aren't aware. They're always like, oh, this is the last time. They think they're in control, but they're not in control. And he thinks he's in control.
He really
the
thinks that
whole
he's got this
time.
situation on like handled.
Hold on. Can we pause for 1 second?
Like the recording?
Yes, literally.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Bye.
We're back. Hello.
Hey. So I had to use the bathroom. Sorry, that happens like every podcast. Also, I was trying to do some fixing up some stuff. I think we've talked quite a lot about this one. I think I just want to say this. If the Academy doesn't even nominate Adam Sandler this year, it's honestly a biased thing, because he is, I mean, I love Joaquin Phoenix and all, but I think Adam Sandler was the most transformative performance of the year.
I agree. I think that
also agree.
he did some of the best acting I've seen this year.
For sure.
And that's coming from like, I mean, that's not the reason I hate him, but like, I'm an Adam Sandler hater, and
Yeah.
I will freely admit that I thought that he was excellent in this movie, and I thought he did a great job. And maybe this is like, the tides are changing for him. Maybe he'll do more stuff like this. And
Yeah, I mean, Tom Hanks
much.
used to just be the dumb comedy guy, you know? He did the Turner and Hooch and all those
Yeah, for sure.
movies. This could be the moment for Adam Sandler, a little late in his career, but he could do it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, that's fine. Like, it's never too late, dude. It's never too late to live up to your fucking potential, Adam Sandler,
For sure.
if you're listening.
Adam Sandler. Anyway, Hotel Transylvania
Ghost of
4.
Adam Sandler, who's
Yeah.
always over my shoulder, lingering.
Anyway,
Oh,
so
God.
let's do ratings. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Change it up.
Heck yeah, do it.
So go ahead and rate both.
Okay. So I'll start with Good Time. 6.5. I've thought about it a lot.
Fuck. Okay.
Fucking shit.
I
That's
know.
harsh as
Just-
fuck,
That was
dude.
harsh, dude.
I liked it, but not that much. Honestly, like just thinking about all the other good movies I've seen this past year,
No,
2019.
no, hold on. That's unfair
What?
because Good Time came out in a normal movie year.
You know
this
what?
year's fucking
There
bullshit.
were a lot of good movies that year too.
I'm just thinking about all the
not really.
movies I've seen in my whole lifetime then.
The best movie that
And-
year was Shape of Water, right? I mean,
No,
essentially.
God, no.
And
We
Shape
don't
of
need
Water
more.
was great.
Yeah, but it was the standout. Like that's the good movie of the year.
No, there were plenty of good. Lady Bird was so good.
Lady Bird
that
was pretty
year.
good. It wasn't like,
Call Me by Your Name was really good.
but none of those movies would hold up this year.
Fucking Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread wouldn't hold up this
I
year.
think Phantom Thread would hold up. I fucking love Phantom Thread.
It's good, but I don't think it'd hold up this
Whatever,
year.
fight me. I don't care.
I think the big one that would probably hold up this year would be Shape of Water. And then if you like really, really boring movies, 3 Billboards.
If you like bad movies, 3 Billboards.
Yeah.
Or Dunkirk.
I'm so sick of fucking Lucas Hedges.
But
Anyway.
yeah, I just felt kind of like lost during a lot of this movie. It felt really nonsensical and like too chaotic.
that way.
I didn't like it. I didn't like how uncomfortable
Becca
it
Madison,
was.
I didn't like
I know how you're supposed to feel, Madison, but I'm not saying I appreciated that feeling that it gave me.
Fair enough.
So, yes, strong 6.5. On the other hand, completely opposite, Uncut Gems is a 9. I loved every second of that movie, even though I almost gave up on it very early on. So I literally pulled Logan like to me, and I was like, "Why can't I understand them? Like, what's going on?"
She was
It's like-
like, when is it going to calm down?
Yeah,
I love, you always turn to me and ask the questions that no one is thinking because we all understand how movies work. It's like you're seeing a movie for the first time every single time you see a movie.
Bridget likes to turn and ask me questions that I obviously don't have the answer to. Like, she'll turn to me and she'll be like, why would he do that? And I'm like, I'm watching the same film.
I just like to like muse out loud.
Yeah, I get it. I do
Like-
the same thing.
But the difference is that
Also
that-
in theaters.
you're asking questions that everyone's asking. Franny's asking questions that everyone understands the answers to.
But
Hey,
I
fuck
like
you.
almost Franny's are better because at least I can answer. But Bridget's like when Bridget's like, what just happened? Who is that guy? I'm like, I don't know. I'm watching it for the first time as
God.
you are, so we're on the same page. Also, like sometimes in the movie theater, Bridget likes to just like whisper something in my ear, like a little quip, that's something that she found funny, and I'm like, great, but I'm trying to watch the movie.
I want to share my experience with you.
Like,
But that's like what this is
share it
for.
after the credits
You're
roll.
literally obligated to not talk during the movie anymore because you're supposed to do it here now.
Correct. It has
This is
gotten
your
better since
job
we started
now.
doing the podcast.
It's tough though. It really is. We gotta like start seeing them and then coming straight here. And
I
just being
know,
like,
I
get it over
know.
with. Because I mean, like, I can't.
I'm just playing, Bridget. I love your little quips, baby.
Do you?
You're my flower, my soon-to-be everything, my,
my
precious.
it's my soon to be my everything.
my soon-to-be my everything, my soulmate. I love you, Julia.
Oh, good
That
morning,
accent is so
Julia.
Good
hot.
morning, Julia.
You said that accent so what?
I said that accent is so hot
Oh
on
god.
Madison.
Is
no.
it? I was like, I can do it all the time.
It's like you don't understand. I can be Joe 24/7, and I ain't got
I
a problem with that.
Anything you want me to be, baby, I can be that for you.
Your crown
Anything you want me
molding.
to build, I can build that for you. I want to be that guy for you. I want to be the love of your life. I want you to think that your ex-boyfriend, he never fucking existed.
We gotta go.
I'm ad-libbing here.
We need to go full throttle.
I'm taking the character in his own
Full
direction.
full
I'm letting
throttle,
him
full
become me.
throttle.
Full throttle, baby.
Oh no.
Sorry,
So-
Bridget. I love your quips.
Bridget, your rating.
So, good time. I'm gonna give a 7 out of 10. A solid 7 out of 10.
Like, ouch on Good Time. Y'all really ain't like
I
Good
just
Time.
was so
like that, huh?
uncomfortable. It's not that I don't like it. I thought it was a good movie. I was just so fucking uncomfortable the entire time. And I mean, like, that was what they wanted to do, but it still made it hard to watch. And so that's why it's got a little bit lower rating. I did think it was very aesthetically pleasing though. Especially when they were in like the ride.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that. Like, the aesthetics of that when they're under the black light.
Ugh. Amazing.
Yeah, I love that
Cinema.
movie. The
Cinema.
cinema.
But then, so Uncut Gems, I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. I was also very uncomfortable the entire time, but I feel like somehow it was less uncomfortable for me.
I think it's a less uncomfortable movie in general.
It definitely doesn't like drown you the whole time.
And you almost like the level of uncomfort that you have during Uncut Gems because there's payoff to it. I just felt like there wasn't in Good Time.
And I'm a Lakeith Stanfield stan, so whenever he's in the movie, I'm like all excited.
Like, I feel that Uncut Gems is this like extremely high energy, like really like speeding train, no brakes kind of uncomfortable. Whereas Good Time, it's sort of like a very slow moving car crash. Like one time I was driving and shut up. No, this is going somewhere. One time I was driving and
that's why I laughed.
I'm like coming down the road and I'm like getting onto the highway and so I can see the other cars driving on the highway because I'm coming on the ramp. And I see this deer like crossing the road and I'm like, oh my God, this deer is going to get hit. And I see it and I know it's going to happen. And then, but there's nothing I can do about it because I'm far away. And so I see this car literally hit this deer and the deer shoots up like 10 feet in the air and it was fucking crazy. And that's what Good Time felt like. Okay. Because it was all very slow moving. Like I saw it happen in advance and I said to the passengers in my car, I was like, that deer's going to get hit. And then it did happen as I predicted that it would. And it was very slow moving, but it was still extremely uncomfortable. And I really felt for that deer who did get up and walk away, by the way. He was all right. So.
Was he?
I mean, he got up and walked away from the scene. He was all right in that moment.
Your blank stare when you looked at me like, he was all right. Right?
Like, I sure hope.
Oh,
but
no.
But it did get up. It did get up. And, like, you know.
That's a different story than I thought you were going for.
That was tough.
Yeah, Bridget, you don't know everything about me. But you could, Julia. I would tell you everything.
Tell me everything, babe.
Okay.
Let me be your Julia. I don't know.
Like, the kind of love I want.
So, Madison, your ratings?
I would give, I think everybody did Good Time first, right? So I guess I'll do Good Time first. I would give Good Time like an A minus. I really, really liked Good Time.
I just wanted to hear a number so bad.
I'm sorry, you never will. You never will hear it. Yeah, I liked Good Time a lot. I didn't like watching it, but I enjoyed it as a movie, and it was like it did something really cool. And I thought that, I don't know, like especially the score and the cinematography and just the aesthetics of this movie were just amazing to me, and I really, really liked it. And I haven't seen a movie that made me feel that way. You don't really often see a movie that makes you feel that specific kind of discomfort and sadness, like almost melancholy. And so I really liked it. And then Uncut Gems, I'm going to give an A+ because it was my favorite movie this year. I keep saying the different things are my favorite and I keep wishy-washy back and forth and I like wouldn't name one for the longest time. But then we saw Uncut Gems and I was like, yep, that's it. That's the one, baby. This movie is like everything that I like in a movie. There's not a lot that I didn't like about this movie.
How crazy is it going to be if at the end of the year you're like 1917, that's my favorite?
If that happens, it will be a cold day in hell.
I'll tell you this much, it's probably going to win Best Picture. That's my prediction.
If 1917 comes out to be my favorite movie, I don't know what I'll do.
Eat your hat?
No.
You'll probably come on this podcast and be like, it's my favorite movie of the year, because that's pretty much how you end every video.
But no, I don't think, no, that's not true.
No, it's not true. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But no, I think Uncut Gems really is my favorite movie that I've seen this year. I think
it's great.
It's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I really like the feel of these sort of like crime heist movies, and I don't think that we like get a lot of them. And the ones that we get are lacking in many ways. Like, but this movie felt very like old school, very inspired by these like crime heisty movies without being them, if that makes sense.
And if I might be wrong, but I think Scorsese produced.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And it's definitely got like an old school like Scorsese mark on it.
And so I was actually gonna draw a comparison there when I was saying that, like, yeah, it feels like it kind of feels like an old Scorsese movie, like, but in the way that you can tell that it's inspired by the feel of it, but not necessarily by what the content is, in comparison to a movie like Joker, which is basically...
We'll get to Joker.
2 Martin Scorsese films that are better than the one that they made when they made Joker.
Yeah, I mean, Joker, I have opinions.
As do I, but like Joker is aspiring to be one of these movies. Whereas Uncut Gems, in a way, is one of these old school crime type movies because it finds the way to embody that feel on its own. And I really liked it. It was a movie that I really liked. I left the theater and I was like hyped up. I was like, yeah, wow, that was a fucking movie. And you know, it's just a refreshing experience to go to the movie theater and like see a movie that's really, really good like that. And so therefore, A+ on Uncut Gems.
So I'll go ahead and give my scores then.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 for Good Time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is haunting. It's effective. It's different. And there's no way Uncut Gems could have been made if it wasn't for the back of Good Time. Like, I think that a lot of the people who worked on the film, as well as like furthering like the Safdie brothers' craft, brought Uncut Gems. Good Time brought that on, as well
Like,
as
I know
really
for sure-
revitalized Robert Pattinson as an indie darling.
I know for sure same person did the score for both movies.
Yeah. And the other thing with it too is I just love, like I said, After Hours this is really controversial, but After Hours might be my favorite Scorsese movie, just because I love those all in one night films where it's just so chaotic. So yeah, that was great, and the performances in it were like amazing. And then Uncut Gems for me gets an 8 out of 10. I liked it a lot. I think it was awesome. 8 out of 10 is a great score.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just
I
think
liked
that,
Uncut Gems better personally, but I think that's just a matter of preference. And
All
not
of
a
us
matter
did
of
besides you.
quality.
well, I think that Uncut Gems is a great movie. I think it's just a little more commercial, which is fine. I think movies should be enjoyed by more people than less people. But for me, I just really like the grittiness of the indie style Good Time. But Uncut Gems was awesome. It's like in my top 3 favorite movies of the year. Top 4, Parasite, that keeps going. Like they keep tying on that. So to be in the top 4 of this year, that's an insane feat because this year's films are amazing.
Yeah.
So, guys, I think this is it. Forever. No, I'm just kidding. But
Is there something you want to say?
yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, we never said who we were at the beginning
Oh.
of this.
Oh,
I'm pretty
it's
sure-
a little late for that now.
All right. Well,
I know,
anyway,
but
hi, my name's Logan. Welcome to Crosscut Cinema. What do you want me to say? And this is Franny over here.
no, I was just saying, like,
this
you
is
know,
Julia.
I was just saying we should say that we're Crosscut Cinema and say that we post on Tuesdays.
We did say that we post
I
on
know,
Tuesdays,
but-
and obviously
and
we're
also-
Crosscut Cinema, given the name of the channel.
And also like and subscribe.
Yes.
We were
And
getting
what-
to that.
I
Like,
was,
comment, subscribe.
Please comment. The biggest thing is
For the
commenting.
love of God.
We love the fact that people are watching the videos, but we love the comments even more because it helps us kind of construct like what we want as a podcast. And
like it helps
we also
us
just
know
want to
what we wanna
converse with
do
you
better.
guys. Yeah.
We want this to be like, I don't want it just to be our thing. I don't want it just to be the thing between the 4 of us. I want it to be like our thing. I want people to like watch this and like tell me their thoughts. If you love Adam Sandler, if you have written a thesis on why Adam Sandler is God, then please send that my way. I want to read it.
Yeah. And
And conversely, if you have a thesis that backs up my point, send it to Logan because I'm right.
I'll read it, and I love fiction.
Yeah, put it in the comments. We'll all
Yeah, I
read
mean,
'em.
do whatever you want.
Or
If you-
email, whatever
And
you
then
feel comfortable
The
with.
other thing with striking up a conversation is we want to do this full time. So if you guys have anything that you want to donate as far as like Patreon, that'd be amazing. It should be linked in the description. We're going to start a tier system for people who donate to us. We want to offer cool, exclusive, and direct forms of communication, even beyond the comments. So if you guys donate to that, we'll be sure to make it worth your while. And also, we'll be able to post more, talk more about movies.
Yeah, that is forthcoming for sure.
I
We
mean,
want it to be what
Madison might
y'all
even
want.
get an ass tattoo from Patreon.
I would get an
so-
ass tattoo for you people. I mean,
One thing we do know is that if you're going to donate even $5, we will make a personalized video thanking you and sending it directly to you. So
heck yeah.
that because we are really thankful for people who watch. So
We really are.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's it, guys. Let me just
Yeah, like, please interact with us. Please.
You're all our
We're
flowers.
so lonely.
Yeah, like, my soon to be everything. Julia, I'll do anything for you. Like, just send me an email. crosscutcinemapod@gmail.com. I'll read it. I'll answer.
Goodbye, Julia.
Ciao, baby. Mwah.